Hi thoughts, welcome back to my channel. It's Ren. On the way in, go ahead, like, comment, and subscribe. It's the easiest and the freest way to support your girl, so go ahead, get to clicking below. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, specifically you. So I wanted to talk about triggers that we thought we have healed. So for those of you who are new here, I've been on a healing journey I've been doing inner work since about 2013. So it's over a decade, and a lot of times, at least when you begin, you think, oh, okay, well, I've handled this and it's out of here. I'm good to go. No more worries about this. And as much as we like to believe that to be true, it's not true. And the thing about healing is it doesn't make the problem itself go away, but it does help you to cope with the problem when it so arises in your head, because most times all these things have come and gone, and so these are just memories and things like that that are popping up and causing us discomfort. For the things that are really heavy in our experience, a lot of times we can think that we've gotten to a place of peace with it, and then we're tested. Now, it would be hopeful to be like, oh yeah, I passed that test, even though obviously tests don't come in that way, but it's just like, you'll know by your reaction, like, oh, well, whatever, like, I don't care, like, no big deal, it is what it is. But when you are triggered from a trigger you thought you healed, sometimes that reaction can be more intense than your initial reaction, because not only are you upset about the situation that triggered you itself, but now you're adding on your own guilt and shame from being upset about the thing you healed, or the thing you thought that you healed. So it really becomes a compounding situation that we kind of fall into, of stoning ourselves. I feel like I just made a video about that, and it doesn't help us, because for one, as I already mentioned, the situation has come and gone. The only thing we're fighting right now are thoughts. Like, literally, it's like an imaginary battle, and so we're fighting ourselves. And it's unfortunate that it's such an easy statement, but the embodiment is what makes it different. I just wanted to tap on that because recently I had found myself re-triggered from something that I had worked on very intentionally. I had been having very good times. Well, I won't say good times. I've been having a lot of peace anytime the trigger comes up, which I won't say is often, but it is often enough. But then one day I had a really, really heavy reaction to the trigger, and then I was upset because I went to go apologize and things like that. It was not well received. That's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes. You can apologize, but that doesn't mean somebody has to accept it, has to be ready to hear it, want to hear it out, or anything. Like, that's unfortunately not up to you. You can pick your choices, but not your consequences. So it is what it is. But I was just so triggered and so upset that I ended up mad at myself, because it's like, girl, you passed this. Like, we already accepted this. We already gave it to God. Like, why are you acting like this about this situation? Like, the situation is honestly imaginary. Like, these are hypotheticals that you're upset about right now. Like, not even like something that actually happened, but you're upset about hypotheticals, and you got triggered and you flew off the handle looking crazy because you're just running off of your emotions. In a perfect world, we could recognize that in the moment and, reel ourselves back in. But that is something that I will offer as advice to help you get through these moments, is to ask God, help me recognize these things in real time before I react. Like, help me realize when I'm getting worked up, so that I can pull it back and keep control of my composure in my situation, and not operate in fear, lack, uncertainty, all these different ways that our triggers may show up in our experience. So ask God for guidance on these, because I've literally had to do that. Like, God, help me in real time. Like, I often notice these things after they happen, but show me while they're happening so that I can stop. Because otherwise it's like, things are all cool, hindsight, but what does that matter? The damage is already done. That doesn't help anything. I mean, it helps for reflective points, but it doesn't help the situation at hand. And so sometimes we can really put ourselves in unfortunate situations, even if it's just discomfort in the house because y'all want to, you done cause an argument or something like that. It really could be any level of things, but if you are able to get a grasp of it in real time, then you are able to navigate the situation better than it typically would have turned out. Now, there are a series of things that you can do to help you navigate these in real time. And so the moment that you're actually starting to feel, that feeling, like, what feeling I'm talking about, like inside, like that pit in your stomach, or that lump in your throat, or just, the grit in your teeth, you're clenching your jaw. Once you start to feel those things, that's when you got to start asking yourself, like, why is this bothering me so much? What about this has me so, like, what about this is starting to affect my nervous system? Why am I feeling this heavily about this? And basically go through the questions and peel back the onion. And sometimes you're going to get an answer, and that's still not going to be sufficient. So you have to ask why again. Like, okay, why did I feel this way about this? Oh, it's because I feel like they're trying to play me. Why would I feel like they're trying to play me? Like, they haven't played me before. They acted like I'm a fool out here. And it's just like, well, what makes you think that they think you're a fool? And it's like, you just gotta keep peeling back the onion. And a lot of times you'll see that what you'll end up at is the core of the situation, instead of all the fluff that you gave it reasoning to. You gave it life from all the other things, but at the base of it is like, no, you just feel like this is really just an abandonment wound that's flexing, because you're scared that you're gonna lose this person, or you're scared that it's like there's so many different things that it could be. But that's just an example on why or how we so easily fall into these triggers. We have to ask ourselves why, how, why. And even sometimes the hows don't matter. Because something I had got stuck on for some years is like, oh, how do I stop this? How do I stop this? And it's just like, let's just worry about recognizing it in the first place, because you can't stop something that you don't even recognize. So being self-aware of your actions, your thoughts, and how you're moving is the best place to start with these, because the how is almost irrelevant until you get a grasp on what you're doing and why you're doing it. So once you figure out the what you're doing and why you're doing it, then you can start worrying about the how, because at that point, that's when the how can be relevant, but it's still technically not even relevant to you, because the how's in God, to be honest. So at that point, it's like time to surrender it over to God. And honestly, you can surrender it over to God before you do any of that. Like, God, I give this to you, this feeling, this heavy feeling in my stomach right now. God, I turn it over to you. I don't want it. It's yours. Thank you. And you can go ahead and handle it, God, and just let that be. But if you're interested in all the backstory, because I was one that was once interested in the backstory, I go through all those points, and then once I got to a certain point, it's like, okay, God, I know why I'm acting like this, or I know what, like, I know the story behind it now. And even though the story isn't necessarily relevant for me, it kind of wraps things around, because a lot of times I won't notice the similarities in situations, and it'll be the exact same thing but under a different name, and I won't recognize it as the same thing. So that's why I like to peel back to the whys. But yes, at that point, you give it to God and let him handle it, because none of these battles are yours. They're all God's. And we can do things ourselves, but it's definitely an uphill battle, and that's coming from someone who hiked this hill. Okay, I literally hiked this hill for years, and only until recently was I able to collapse the time and really pick up momentum. And so I'm grateful for that, and I can let you guys know a bit about that, because it's heavily nervous system related, and we'll talk about that more and all that good stuff. But it's okay. I want you to always look at yourself through the lens of love, and I want you to be compassionate with yourself, and really just be kind to who you are, even when you're acting a fool. Even when you acting out, still love yourself through it, because we're all just big kids. We're all just little babies, little toddlers in these grown people bodies, and sometimes we have issues handling our big emotions just like they do. So we're all the same. So have compassion, have that patience with yourself, and it's like, it's okay, we're gonna get through this, and just keep nurturing yourself back up, yourself back up, and then love bomb yourself, like, hey, like, get it like really ingrained in yourself. Like love on yourself so deeply, even if it's like by actions, like listening to some nice music to lift up your mood, dancing, watching something that'll make you laugh, working out. There's so many different ways that you can kind of build yourself up from these triggered moments that'll honestly work in real time. It's not something that you'll be waiting to feel better for. Now, if you are waiting, it's because you keep replaying it. It's not because of the situation itself. It's like you have it on a loop. Like you literally hit loop and just kind of keep rotating it around, instead of saying, okay, I see this happening, accepting the emotion and letting the emotion be had. Just like a cloud, they come and they pass over. Just like a thought, they come and they pass over. So let yourself have your moment, because you're already feeling it. So let's just let it process and move on, because we go too deep into the whys, especially when we're not in a place to receive it. Once we get too deep, it might not even be helpful to continue to go down that path. So know your limits on how deep you go, because sometimes we re-traumatize ourselves. Trying to wrestle things to the ground, we really add so much more resistance to the releasing of it than the compassion on breezing through it, because everything's flow. Everything is flow. Things just come, things just go, things just happen. Experiences happen around us, and that's all that's happening, even with your triggered moments, even especially the triggered moments that you're replaying on loop. It's just a thought that came up, or it's just a conversation that was had. It was just an action that was had, and it's really what's the word? I don't know, but yeah, these are all just actions. These are just things that happen. And so just like the thing has come and gone, so should your emotion for it. So if the emotion comes up, honor it. Give yourself love and compassion, feel it and release it. That's really what will help any situation. And if sometimes you may have to walk away, because a lot of times when we're triggered, it can turn into a very heavy situation. And even if we're by ourselves, sometimes we just have to take a pause and leave things where they at and let them be. Those are some things that those are things that helped me when it came to triggers. And like I said, I've been doing inner work for a very long time, and I had just fell into a moment like that, and all the work that I had known went out the window. I was in there like acting a fool. I was in there really in a really wounded space, and I hate that I went there, but it is what it is. I went there. It doesn't matter. Like, I can feel how I want to feel about it, because the reality of the situation is the reality of the situation. I can't do anything. I can't take it back. So it's just like, all right, well, how do I move forward from this? Well, I accept that I still have some work to do. This thing that I thought I was healed from, it really triggered me in this moment. So it clearly means that there's some more stuff that's left in there that I need to consider and tap into, lean into it. Because if this comes up again, I don't want to have the same reaction. If this comes, like, if this happens again, I don't want to fail myself. And it's not even that I'm failing myself, but I don't want to take all the work and efforts that I've done over these years and just toss it out the window for a very temporary moment. Everything's temporary. So I think these are things that'll also help you. So if you find yourself in a moment that you're triggered, pull yourself back, take a deep breath. Even if it's something that you've already worked on, and let go. If it comes back, take it, lean into it and say, okay, this is how I'm feeling. Have that internal dialogue. Okay, hey, why I'm feeling like this? Oh, I thought I healed this already. Well, here we are. This is how we feeling right now, and just sit with it. And it's like, okay, all right, I see. And then it's just like, all right, well, I understand. Let it go. Just keep going on. So we don't want to dwell in this for like an hour, like even an hour. Spend as little time on this as you can, because repeating the story or repeating letting that feeling perpetuate doesn't help. So it's just best to feel that feeling and then move on with your time like nothing happened, essentially. That's everything. That's life. That's how life goes. Continue to peel back your onion and be kind and gracious and loving to yourself, the same way you be to the little you or your child or someone like that, a kid basically. Have that same compassion. But if you made it to the end, go ahead and leave some bubbles and balloons. And if you forgot on the way in, it's okay. I forgive you, but go ahead, do it now. Like, comment, and subscribe. It's the easiest and the freest way to support your girl. So go ahead, get the clicking below, and don't forget to turn on the bell notification so that you are notified for my posts. And until next time, bye. Let's go.